Lions are going to have that winning mentality no matter what happens on Sunday for Monday night.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We say hello, everybody, on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions, Tuesday, December 24th, and a Christmas Day, a Wednesday, December 25th. Matt Derry with you. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. It is another installment of Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network. As we like to say, your team every day, except for tomorrow. There will not be a Christmas Day show tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow off, a rare day off, but that's what we are going to do. We'll have Brian Peacock join us on Thursday for the Locked On crossover edition, Lions and 49ers. Brian does a great job hosting Locked On Niners. We had Brian on, of course, last year before the NFC Championship game. We will cross over with him on Thursday right here on Locked On Lions. A little special guest at the end of Friday's show as well. We get you ready for Monday Night Football. 8:15 Monday night, Detroit at San Francisco. Lions will be keeping their eye on Sunday's action as Minnesota will host Green Bay. And of course, if the Vikings lose on Sunday to the Packers, which could happen, Green Bay's playing well, the Lions could clinch the NFC North and a first-round bye and the best record in the NFC with a win over the 49ers on Monday. We're going to go through all the scenarios momentarily. I want to talk about something Dan Campbell's been saying the last 2 days, which I really like about this matchup on Monday night. A Jared Goff topic I want to get into because his name is not being mentioned for MVP. I don't think enough based on the numbers. How about that Stumblebum play? I keep watching that thing. And the more I watch it, the more I see that Ben Johnson is just a master of deception. And a call of the day. We will do that as well on our SpeakPipe voicemail system. You want to be our call of the day, go to speakpipe.com/Dairy Podcast page. This episode of Locked On Lions today brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use the code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Shout out to our everydayers who are out there. We appreciate all of you that watch and listen to the podcast daily. We lost. I didn't cue this up, and I need to do that very quickly here. But one of our everydayers and somebody that listened to the podcast and liked the podcast a lot has passed away. If I can just find, oh man, I hate when I do this and I'm not ready to do this. This is a very poor job by me. I'm going to get you this individual's name momentarily here. So our buddy Ryan O'Connor, known as Rhino to his friends, a close friend as well of Tom Moriarty's. Tom loves the show as well. Ryan passed away last week after a long bout with an illness, with alcoholism. Rhino is an awesome Lions fan, was an awesome Lions fan. And shout out to the O'Connor family. I know many of them watch and listen to the podcast. Shout out to Tom Moriarty, who told me about the O'Connors. We're thinking about the O'Connor family for sure. But thanks to all of our everydayers that are out there. I know I owe a lot of you shout outs. They're coming. We all know this is a crazy time of year. All right. So Dan Campbell was asked on yesterday about, and I think this is absolutely awesome that he was asked about this. Dan Campbell was asked about, all right, what if the Vikings win on Sunday against Green Bay? It really makes sort of the Monday night game against the Niners meaningless, because if the Lions even were to lose to San Francisco Monday night, they could still win the division and still be the NFC's top seed because they would hold the tiebreaker over Minnesota and have the same record as the Vikings. The Vikings end up 14-3 and the Lions end up 14-3. The Lions own the tiebreaker due to sweeping the season series. So Dan Campbell said he doesn't care. He does not care. They are going out to San Francisco to win a football game. They are going out there to keep their winning spirit, their winning mentality. They will not let up. They will not take their foot off the gas. They will not rest people for this particular game. Now, again, if Minnesota loses Sunday against Green Bay, and the Lions win the division Monday night with a win over the Niners, week 18 has become meaningless. And the Lions should rest people. But for a game like this, in San Francisco against a struggling 6-win Niner team, Dan Campbell says, win or lose with Minnesota, we're going out there to win. And two things that I really like. And by the way, shout out to Jeremy Reisman from Pride of Detroit, who posted this morning. Technically, Lions 49ers matters even if the Vikings beat the Packers. Jeremy writes, quote, because in the unlikely event of a week 18 tie between the Lions and Vikings, the Lions would need that win over San Francisco to clinch over Minnesota based off of all the tie-breaking scenarios. So there you have it. Bottom line is Lions could clinch Monday night if the Vikings lose, Vikings win. Lions still should, as Jeremy pointed out, try to play to win so that they don't have to deal with if there's a tie or anything else. But it could come down to week 18, of course, if both teams, if the Vikings win on Sunday at home against Green Bay. And the Vikings have already beaten the Packers. They did so on the road earlier in the year. But here's the thing. Number one, the winning mentality, the mindset that the Lions have of we're not going to let up. We're playing to win every game. This is our identity. We're not going to take a game off. That's number one, and something that I respect about this franchise. They put a premium on winning every week, no matter what the scenario is. Number two is the revenge factor. This team has been thinking about this game for almost a year. Remember, the Lions played the 49ers in late January last year and lost and blew a 17-point halftime lead at 24-7 in the NFC Championship game. They remember Levi Stadium. They remember going out to San Francisco. They've been circling this game, no matter if the 49ers stink or not at 6-9. They want revenge. They want to win this game. They want to take that taste out of their mouth of last year's trip to San Francisco and put it in the rearview mirror. Now, is this as big a game as last year's NFC Championship game? Of course not. All right. But these guys have pride. Numerous times during this season, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, they're reminding this team about what took place in San Francisco last year. This is almost like kind of what Michigan and Ohio State do on a daily, talking about each other. Ohio State always says we spend at least once a day talking about that team up north. Now, it hasn't worked the last 4 years for Ryan Day and company, but the Lions have been thinking about revenge and this game in particular all season. They want to go out to San Francisco and win on that field. And I get it. I get it. Many of these players remember how sick they felt losing that lead last year to Brock Purdy, Debo, Kittle, Warner. All those guys are going to be out there this week. They are all going to be out there on Monday night. And I think the Lions want to put on a show. I think they want to win this game, and they want to just keep the momentum going after winning last week in Chicago and knocking off the Bears. And like I said before, I don't blame them. That is kind of what this team's identity is and their mentality. They are not wanting to let up. San Francisco was officially eliminated from playoff contention last week. They are 6-9. They are ravaged and have been ravaged with injuries all year, whether it was Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Javon Hargrave on defense. They've lost tons of players. Fred Warner is playing with a broken bone in his foot and still playing. They've lost numerous dudes. Ambry Thomas, lots of guys. But they're going to have pride. You know they're going to want to put on a decent show Monday night. So all of a sudden it's kind of turned into a little bit of a rivalry with Detroit and San Francisco. But it's not the same Niner team they saw a year ago. Not at all. And could this be Kyle Shanahan's last home game out in San Francisco? I don't think that he would be let go by John Lynch, the GM, but maybe Shanahan takes a little bit of a break. You know, there's a lot of rumors about the Bears trying to trade for him if they can't get Ben Johnson. So we'll have to see about that. All right. I want to talk more about Ben Johnson and deception with that Stumblebum play. If you are, by the way, a beer fan, check out Stumblebum Beer Company in Troy. on Maple, just west of Crooks. Go in there tonight or today and ask for Eli or Liz and mention the Lions Stumblebum play. You're going to get some money off your beer. They got $4 cans that you can take with you. They're phenomenal. Stumblebum Brewing Company, a beer company in Troy. All right, let's pay some bills. Come back after this, talk about deception and Jared Goff as well. Locked On Lions brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. NFL playoffs are almost here. It's not too late to get in on the regular season action here with 2 weeks to go at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up that W. You love betting on which players will score a touchdown? You can do that. What about how many points each team will score? Do the over-unders, do the totals, do whatever you want. It is all thrilling, and it's all right there for you at FanDuel. Who watched the Pistons late night last night knock off the Lakers? You had Detroit plus the points last night on FanDuel. You were a winner. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets right there. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, welcome back. Matt Derry with you, a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah as well, which is also starting tomorrow. And hope everybody has a great holiday season, and hope everybody is safe, enjoying family, and taking a few days off here. We'll be back with you again on Thursday for the crossover with Locked On 49ers host Brian Peacock. I keep watching that Stumblebum play from this past Sunday. And by the way, anybody that says, the Lions should not have wasted that play against the Bears. Ben Johnson's got a full arsenal of trick plays. Please don't tell me they shouldn't have wasted it. You play to win. That day, Lions saw that the Bears were susceptible. They botched a play against Green Bay last year where Jordan Love actually fumbled the ball and threw a touchdown pass. So the Lions knew to use it against that team. That I'm not worried about. But if you watch the video of the play again, watch the deception that goes on with not just Jahmyr Gibbs falling down and Jared Goff stumbling and hiding the football. Watch Sam Laporta. He starts blocking. He seeps through the line of scrimmage a little bit, first blocking like it's going to be a running play, and then he's wide open as he's heading to that left pylon in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Watch how the receivers deceive the corners into thinking it's a run play, and how they hold out their fakes, how they look like they're run blocking and then go out in their patterns. This is a testament to what Ben Johnson brings to an offense. And look, Skip Bayless isn't on TV anymore, but he's all over the internet still. Skip Bayless is saying, Ben Johnson's a great coordinator, but don't buy the fake. Don't make him a head coach. I hope teams listen to Skip Bayless and don't hire him away from the Lions or Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson is a wizard. And I do this a lot on the show. When was the last time the Lions had an assistant coach like this that was easily the hottest commodity in the coaching market? Everybody wants a sniff at Ben Johnson. Everybody wants to interview Ben Johnson. I got people from Chicago texting me, do you think Ben Johnson will, when do you think Ben Johnson will leave? When do you think he'll come to the Bears? Like, Ben Johnson's here to win a Super Bowl. He's not leaving next week. He's not leaving in 2 weeks. All right. He's not even allowed to interview technically till after the playoffs. So we're going to see how that all goes. But the deception, how guys hold out fakes, how Johnson designs these plays where the other team is just so faked out is remarkable. It really is. And yes, you've got to have the talent. You got to have the quarterback that can throw the ball. You've got to have the tight end that can catch the ball in scenarios like that. But man, just the way that the plays are designed, set up, practiced, as Jared Goff said, they worked on it in practice this week. I love what Goff said. He said, look, Ben actually originally told me when they were going to put the play in Stumblebum, drop the ball. actually fumble it. And Jared's like, I don't think that's a good idea. I'll just act like I'm fumbling, which he did, held on to the football and made a great throw. But credit to what Ben Johnson is doing. And just go back if you can, folks, and watch the video of it. And just watch Sam Laporta and how well he holds that fake, acts like he's run blocking, and then kind of seeps out behind the linebackers for that touchdown. Mentioned before about Jared Goff. Everybody's talking MVP right now. It's that time of year. I think everybody agrees that Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills, is likely going to win it. But when you have a discussion and you look at, Vegas odds, I think Jared Goff is 4th or 5th behind Saquon and Lamar Jackson. But there's been a lot written, especially after Lamar and the Ravens beat the Steelers last week and finally kind of broke that Pittsburgh jinx. A lot of talk about Lamar, which there should be. He's having a great year. And Saquon Barkley has been so explosive for Philly. Saw the touchdown run he had this past weekend against Washington. My God, just ran past all the Commander defenders. It was a great play. But think about this from Jared Goff. This past Sunday, Jared Goff had this is pretty remarkable, his 5th game of the year with a passer rating over 130. Do you know how many NFL quarterbacks have had 5 passer rating games over 130 in their career? None. 0. A bunch at 4. Jared Goff made it 5 this past week with his 23 out of 32, 336-yard, 3-touchdown performance against the Bears. Touchdown Bears. Goff had a passer rating of 155.8 against Seattle, 153.8 against Dallas, 140 against Minnesota. Even had a 129.9 game against Tennessee, not over 130. 158.3 perfect passer rating against Jacksonville in their 52-6 win. And the Lions, of course, have been perfect on the road this year. But Jared Goff doing something that no other quarterback has ever done in the NFL. And I know passer rating has been around, but it hasn't really been profiled as much by the media and by the stat geeks. Really now passer rating is much more popular than it was, let's say, when I was a kid 20, 30 years ago. 5 games over 130 is phenomenal. It means he's not throwing interceptions. It means he's not throwing incompletions. It means he's not being sacked 6 or 7 times in a game and losing yards. He's efficient. He's on the money. And I don't even think he's being talked about enough. I filled in yesterday on Cleveland radio. I was working at doing the afternoon show on 92.3 The Fan, where I've been filling in since 2016. And the co-host, Jonathan Peterlin, and I were talking about the NFL, and JP made a point about the Browns and picking up a quarterback and drafting one at number 5. And he was saying, look, in the AFC, it's loaded with QBs, whether it's Mahomes, Burrow, Stroud, Josh Allen. And he's like, not so much in the NFC. Like Jared Goff, he's okay. And I'm like, no, he's better than okay. Jared Goff's damn good. And he's playing with and beating and hanging with some of the best there is. I get it. There's more hype around the AFC quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson are 2 of the top 3 MVP candidates. But Jared Goff needs to be and should be right up there. And if there's anybody doubting that, well, it's a system and, well, it's Ben Johnson, you still got to do it. You still got to be on the field. You ever go to ground level? You ever on the field? Even if it's a high school game or a college game, watch how difficult it is for a quarterback to see down the field. It's not like he's elevated on a box or a bema or a stage looking over going, oh yeah, open man. Oh yeah, open man. You got to see over the lineman. You got to have the timing. Playing quarterback's not easy. And all Jared Goff is doing is putting up massive numbers in this offense. And I think he should be talked about more. but 5 games over 130 passer rating is fantastic and has never been done before. So shout out to number 16. All right, our call of the day coming up next. If you want to be our call of the day, hit us up and leave a voicemail at speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. One of our everydayers checks in, and we'll hear his question coming up next. But first, today's episode of Locked On Lions sponsored by PrizePicks. If you love watching the game, you're going to love PrizePicks, the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy. Whether it's football, basketball, or any of your favorite sports, PrizePicks makes your holidays bigger and brighter. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on PrizePicks. Plus, this holiday season, they're giving away over $30 million in rewards during PrizePicks Picksmas and offering 2 free picks in December. When your picks hit, PrizePicks makes it easy to cash out. You can get your money in as fast as 15 minutes. All you got to do is play 2 to 6 player stat projections. All right. So this week, if you're thinking Jared Goff's going to throw for more than 230 passing yards against the Niners, maybe Saquon run for more than 1 touchdown, Justin Jefferson, maybe more than 1 touchdown catch. It's quick, simple, and so much fun to challenge yourself and your friends. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly when you play just $5. PrizePicks, run your game. And hey, did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for. And at Rocket Money, they make it so easy to track all of them down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. All right. There's so many great things about Rocket Money. Check it out for yourself. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Lions and 49ers coming up Monday Night Football. We are back with you on Thursday for the crossover. We'll talk to Locked On Niners host Brian Peacock. Does a great job. And, of course, Lions looking to avenge that NFC Championship Game loss and keep this winning streak going. They're at 1 after this past win over the Bears. Of course, Vikings play on Sunday. Green Bay or Minnesota 13-2. Lions are 13-2. Vikings lose Sunday against the Packers. And the Lions beat the Niners Monday night. Detroit will win the NFC North for the 2nd straight year. But this time around, they'll win the NFC regular season and get a first round bye, which they desperately need. All right, time for our call of the day. We hear from one of our listeners and or viewers, which we love. And this week, today, Caston Reed is our call of the day. He went to speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page.
Hey, Matt. Caston Reed from Des Moines, Ohio. Everydayer. We got a speculation question. You see Dan Campbell pull J-Mo aside, talk to him, and then J-Mo responds positively. And Dan's always had J-Mo's back through all of these questionable decisions and situations he's putting himself in. My question to you is, do you think J-Mo's career trajectory would be on a different path if he went to anybody else besides Dan Campbell? You see these star receivers come out of college and their careers fizzle out before they even begin because of poor decision-making. And I'm not putting it all on J-Mo. I think some of the stuff has just been, silly stuff that the league is trying to crack down on and hypocritical. But I feel like Dan always has his back and J-Mo needs someone like that. Interesting to hear your response. Thanks.
Thank you, Caston Reed, down in Ohio, one of our everydayers, and appreciate his question. You know, it's interesting, and this has been brought up before about Jamison Williams, just an immense talent. We saw this past Sunday, man. He just blew by the Bears secondary and made a heck of a catch for that 82-yard touchdown. J-Mo is huge for this offense, and I love when he touches the football. It's exciting every time his hands are on it. As far as the stuff off the field, yeah, I mean, think about the coaches that can really, I'm not going to say coddle, but can really mentor a young man like Jamison Williams, who at times has done immature things, whether it was suspended for performance enhancing substances, whether it was suspended for gambling, whether it was getting pulled over late at night with a gun in the car and he was not arrested. But J-Mo has had some things, as Caston pointed out, off the field. We don't need to go through all of that. But the bottom line is Dan Campbell has been great for Jamison Williams. And we saw on the sidelines this past Sunday, J-Mo spin the ball at Tyreek Stevenson's feet, got a 15-yard penalty, and immediately Dan Campbell took him under his wing, patted him on the chest a couple times, told him we can't do that, and J-Mo responded with a great game. I don't think there's a lot of coaches that could, I'm not saying handle players that are troubled, but there are a couple of guys that come to mind that I think are perfect fits for players that might be at times acting immature. Number one is Dan Campbell. Number two is Jim Harbaugh. Look what Jim Harbaugh, look at how much the players love him out in LA or when he was in Ann Arbor, right? Guys responded to Harbaugh. Mike Tomlin is another one. Mike Tomlin has had Antonio Brown. He's had George Pickens. And for some odd reason, these guys seem to flourish because Coach Tomlin just is a guy that is a mentor, that they trust, that they listen to. I think that there are plenty of head coaches that if there's a bad seed in that locker room or there's somebody that needs special attention, they just don't have the people skills or maybe the awareness to work with players like that. And it becomes toxic and it becomes a bad locker room where, you know, players take it over. I remember covering the Tigers many years ago when they had some real a-holes on their team, and it was a terrible clubhouse. And I think the manager at the time was Luis Pujols. It was a joke. The guy ran an absolute circus, and the players had no respect for him. They had no respect for media members and each other, and it was a joke, and that's why they lost. So you got to have the right guy that can sometimes spin those wheels of the players, and Dan Campbell and Jamison Williams are a great, great match. All right. We are not here tomorrow. We are back on Thursday. We will preview Lions and 49ers with Brian Peacock on the Locked On Thursday crossover. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, everybody.